Hello to all, it is I, steamjoe, and I'm here with the review of Samurai Jack, Season 5, Episode 1. Yes, I said it, Jack is back. It premiered on Toonami / Adult Swim recently, and I cannot be more excited. We have a more grittier, more adult-oriented Samurai Jack. It is awesome. I'm glad that it's back. Thank you, Gendy Tartakovsky, Phil Lamar, everybody who was involved with Samurai Jack. Thank you so much, because this is a show that I do believe should still be on TV. It's been so long, what, 14 years? Yeah, 14 years. Because the first season went from 2001 to 2004. I'm sorry, 13 years. So 13 years it has been off of TV. Season 4 left basically without closure. And now we finally get it with Season 5. I cannot be more excited. I am a huge fan, as you can tell, of Samurai Jack. I remember when it first came out in 2001, I was 11. And when I first saw that, it just really blew my mind away, because that was the first time you ever saw a cartoon basically take itself to the point whereas it considered itself a movie-like experience. And just the animation that was used when they created Samurai Jack back then, with the outlines free, characters, the different colors and shapes and sizes, and the different influences that you can tell Samurai Jack adopted and basically made its own, in a way you can say. So I'm just so glad that Samurai Jack's in the action too. Action was always something. And one thing that always intrigued me about Samurai Jack, or amazed me, was basically everybody knew it had to be a kid's show because it was on Cartoon Network. So when Jack was transported into the future, that helped the storyline, because then, you know, with his katana, he could slice up robots, and, you know, the nuts and bolts and oil would come out. And you still had, like, the very cool action scenes with the robots, but it never felt like it lost anything, because, you know, it was robots. Just because Jack was in the future, so it made sense for him to fight robots or different creatures that bled, you know, green blood or whatever. So the way the story went, the way everything was shifted, and how the show knew, okay, we're gearing this for kids, but adults can watch it. I just loved how they was able to still tell an intriguing and action-packed story, considering that it was for kids. So that in itself amazed me so much. And then just the way Jack, the character, he could say probably only 3 or 4 words per episode, yet his actions spoke so loud. And the way Phil Lamar, the great Phil Lamar, voice actor, was able to portray Jack was just amazing, because he was able to get so much feeling and emotion just out of 3 or 4 words. You know, one of my favorite episodes though was when Jack had to pass the 3 blind mice, Aku's henchmen, and they were blind, yet their senses were so keen that basically Jack couldn't get past them, and they were guarding this area that Jack needed to get to in order to try to get back to his timeline, because he's from the past, but Aku sent him to the future because Aku was going to lose to Jack. So in a desperate move, Aku sent Jack to the future, where Aku controls everything, because he was able to control the past, which meant that he controlled the present and then eventually the future. So in order for Jack to get past the 3 blind mice, he himself covered his eyes. He made himself blind, and he only used his other senses, but they were heightened because he couldn't use his sight. So I thought that was just so cool, and for a kids show, it had so much depth. It's just amazing. So with Season 5, I am glad that Jack is back, and I can't wait to see what adventures Jack has in store for us. And I can't wait to see how much more freedom. Basically, Gendy and Phil Lamar, they have a lot more freedom to do a lot more different creative things, because they don't have the restrictions of the show being a kid show anymore. So I can't wait to see what they pull out of their bag of tricks with season 5. So without further ado, let's review. So episode 1 starts off with Aku's beetle henchmen surrounding these two blue creatures. They were elf-like. It was mother-daughter, and they were scared, terrified. So basically, they had nowhere to go. I mean, it was like thousands and thousands of beetle henchmen. Then we see a man on a motorcycle drive up, and he is armored out. He has like armor vest, a warlord like armor, and the motorcycle has armor on it too. It's punk style. And then the man shoots these spikes out of the tires of the motorcycle and starts to just trash and rip up all of the beetles, the bugs. And then he pulls out these two guns, starts shooting them up. Max comes off, is Jack. Jack has hair from his face, from his head, is all long, is black, is woolly, and he looks angry. So he then jumps off the motorcycle and starts shooting up all of Aku's henchmen one by one until eventually they're all gone. So then the one of the blue creatures, the daughter, tried to thank Jack, but Jack didn't even acknowledge her, pay attention to her. He just got back on his motorcycle and drove off. So then Jack tells us that it's been 50 years since the last time we saw him. Then that's in cartoon years, because obviously it hasn't been 15 years. It's only been 13. But it's been 50 years from season 4 to season 5 in his timeline. And because of him being pushed into the future, forced into the future, his body doesn't age. So he still looks the same as he did in season 4. Otherwise, he'd be an old man right now with gray hair instead of black hair. So then Jack stops in this forest to drink water, get refreshments. Then that's when he starts to think about the people that he left behind, or that he was forced to leave behind: his mother, his father, his friends, his country. Then they all started to show up in like this ghost form, and they blame Jack for what happened to their country. They tell Jack that he shouldn't have never left. He abandoned them. He left them for dead, and it drives Jack crazy. It's driving Jack crazy. And then he hops back on his motorcycle and starts driving some more. Then nighttime comes. He's eating a rat, and he has this fire up really high, to cook the rat. But within the fire, he sees his father's face. And his father is again repeating the same thing. Why did you leave us? You were supposed to protect us. Aku destroyed us, our family, our country. Then Jack screams, and that's when we see that he might be going insane. It's a strong possibility. Excuse me. And who wouldn't? I mean, it's 50 years trying to get back to your timeline. 50 years of destroying henchman after henchman, saving person after person, being tricked by everybody, not everybody, but mostly Aku's henchmen, feeling like you're close to getting back to your timeline only to find out that it's a trick. Man, I mean, and that's going 50 years, so Jack has a right to be crazy if he is. So then the next scene is when we get our first glimpse into the effect of Samurai Jack being on Adult Swim / Toonami. It is the birth scene of Aku's children. 7 kids. The scene was intense, guys. And they couldn't have never put that scene on Samurai Jack season 1 through 4 on Cartoon Network. No way, no way. This scene was just insane. And when I saw it, I was like, wow, man. I mean, look how much Jack has grown up. The show in general. And it was all of this was happening in a cave. and inside of the cave was a huge Aku statue, and also within the cave was a group of people. Some people were on their knees praying, worshiping Aku. Then you had one lady with a mask on, excuse me, and she said she was like the head of the group, and she after each kid was born, she would say that Aku would be so pleased he would finally show his face again after years of not doing so, and that the kid's sole purpose was to destroy Jack, kill Jack. But she said that they were Aku's children, and I didn't know if that was true or not until I saw their bodies. Now their head is human-like, but then the lower, everything under the chin is like Aku's body. So you know the black kind of the black ghostly figure. The kids have that also, but they have arms and legs as opposed to with Aku just having arms and then just like a straight, like narrow figure for his leg, I guess you could say. But they have arms and legs, and they were crying up a storm on the stone that they were inside of the cave. So then the head lady said that Aku would be so pleased, and you know their purpose was to destroy Jack, kill Jack. So Jack gets back on his motorcycle. He's driving again. He sees a smoke screen. He then goes to the source of the smoke screen, and it is this abandoned, looked like it was a house or something, but it's ripped up. So basically it's debris everywhere. But within there is one of Aku's henchmen, and he claims to be Aku's favorite henchman. But assumably he set up that smoke screen to lure Jack into the abandoned area, the henchman did. So, and the henchman is Gendy's trademark style. He has the purple suit on. He's an android, but he has this really wide chin, tight pants, and then boots, red boots, dark red boots with like a 3 or 4 inch heel. I mean, he is like flashing, unique, and his voice is so funny too. He has a hilarious voice. And if you haven't seen it, guys, please, you gotta watch it. So then he starts to check Jack out. Jack steps up, and now they're face to face. And then he says that you know, Jack's hair is really crazy and everything, his facial hair. Jack still has on his warlord outfit on, which looks really cool, by the way. So then the henchman asks to see Jack's sword. But then he realizes that Jack doesn't have the sword, only guns. So then there's a flashback scene of Jack actually dropping his sword, the katana, into this well. And it looked like he was going to fall, but then he caught himself. But then the sword ended up slipping out of his hand and falling into the well. So we'll probably learn more about what happened there as, you know, the episodes go on. So then the henchman then tries to call Aku. And then actually we get our first listen to Aku's voice. As you all know, the original voice actor for Aku, Mako, legendary Japanese voice actor, he died in 2006, 2 years after the show went off. And after that, they used 2 other voice actors for when a Samurai Jack game was created, I think for the PS2. And then it was this other game on a website, on the internet, on CartoonNetwork.com, if I'm correct. But it was 2 different voice actors that voiced Aku after Mako died. And it'll be interesting to see how the show deals with Mako's absence. But we get a little glimpse of Aku's voice, and he's saying, what? You know, the trademark Aku dialogue. But then Jack shoots the phone out of the henchman's hand. The henchman was trying to tell Aku that Jack didn't have his sword anymore. Jack shoots the phone out of the henchman's hand, and then we get the battle scene. And trademark Samurai Jack battle scene it was. It's very, you know, the dynamics of Samurai Jack's action scenes never cease to amaze me. I mean, it's always something bigger and better that they've always been able to do throughout all of the episodes, all of the seasons. and season 5 looks to be the same. So the assassin he then starts to play this flute. Then the flute then creates a monster from the debris, like the rocks and everything. Then the monster tries to kill Jack. Jack destroys it with his guns, and it's just so weird seeing Jack primarily use weapons, guns to destroy everybody, kill everybody. So then the assassin then makes a sword out of thin air, raise up, and then starts to slice at Jack. So then as that's going on, the assassin then has his own sword and he's attacking Jack. So then it's 2-on-1. It's a really cool scene, guys. I don't want to spoil too much of it, but if you haven't seen it, please check it out. It is so cool. So Jack ended up defeating the assassin, and he had this very, very cool fatality he used on the assassin. If you haven't seen that, guys, please check it out. I don't want to spoil it. You got to see it. So Jack finished him. Then we get a glimpse again at Aku's 7 kids. And here's the funny part. They grew up from 1 year old basically to 18 in maybe 1 or 2 minutes. But throughout that time, they were going through a training regimen, the same that almost Jack went through when he was younger. But with this training regimen, it was all done in the cave. And they went from jumping on cliffs, dodging bullets, fighting huge Herculean women look like. I mean, they went through some stuff, man. Their training regimen was almost in a way like how Jack's was back in season 1 when Jack was younger after Aku first appeared. And Jack had to learn from different races and cultures and everything. But it molded him into the warrior that he is now currently. So then the kids went through, in my opinion, the same thing, just the evil version. So they started at 1, 2, ended up growing into like young adults, and they're all girls too. So then by the time they were 18, they were tall, almost as tall as the head leader of the group. Then that's when the head leader decided that they were ready to go kill Jack. So she put Max on all 7 of them and told each one to go kill Jack for Aku. So episode 2 is going to feature the battle of Jack versus Aku's children, which is insane because I never thought I would say that. But that was the episode. So then when episode went off, we had the signature Jack music, and I'm glad they kept that in. I know they didn't have it in the intro, but I'm glad that the ending, they kept it in for the ending. So this was another great episode of Samurai Jack, one of his best ever. And fittingly so, it's on Toonami, Adult Swim, so they have to bring their best every episode. And episode 1 was a great start to season 5, a great, great start. I'm just glad that the show is back, and I'm hoping that season 5 stays strong, just like previous seasons did. I'm going to give this episode, because it's a review too. I mean, well, I got to give it a score. It's a recap / review. I'm sorry. I didn't say recap at first. I just said review. But it's a recap / review. And I'm giving Samurai Jack Season 5, Episode 1, 10 steams out of 10. 10 steams out of 10. Great visuals, great action, great dialogue, even though it wasn't that much. I mean, hey, we all know what Samurai Jack brings, dialogue-wise, and it was great. And great storytelling also, because they were able to grow Aku's children up fast, but it didn't feel fast. It felt right, And the visuals, the animation was just so beautiful. The action animation was just very, very well choreographed, animated, and you can also see now that they're using computer animations. I'm so proud of Gendy, Phil Lamar, everybody who's worked on Samurai Jack. Great job, guys. I can't wait to see episode 2. I will review it just like this, and I hope you guys liked it, my review. And I hope you watch the show too. And hey, for all of the fans out there, let's support Toonami, let's support Samurai Jack, let's make sure that that Toonami and Samurai Jack stay on for as long as they want to, as long as they need to, and let's support them, guys. So let's watch. But thanks for watching my review / recap of Samurai Jack Season 5 Episode 1. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more great content. Thanks for supporting me, and as always, steamjoe out.